People think they need to be a psychologist or a coach to have a mental health conversation, but in reality, they don't.
You've been talking about when you go up on site doing your mental health first aid presentations or why organisations call you up to do it. And you were talking about how some people get overwhelmed about the conversations. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
When we teach mental health first aid or breaking the circuit, at the end of that session I kind of do a quick uptake on how to have a mental health conversation, and people quickly realise that they don't need to be a psychologist to have a conversation with someone about their mental health, they just need to be someone who cares.
Yeah.
What I've found recently is that there's so many different modes of communication that it can be really effective. I found with me and Lockie to go back with voice messages and to check in on each other through that medium has been a really effective way to diffuse a mental load. So it doesn't even have to be about having a conversation. And what I've found is that as I've been supporting people recently who are supporting people, so I've kind of stepped into this role of supporting people who are supporting people, is that they go, I've rung this guy and he hasn't called me back, but he's messaging me. I'm like, well, cool. So message. If that's his mode of communication, use that as a tool to message with him.
Follow their suit, yeah.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're giving the person who's having the mental health challenge the opportunity to lead and communicate the way that they feel safe to communicate. So if they're not willing to have a phone call or they don't want to have a face-to-face meeting, then utilise whatever it is that they want to use to communicate. And you can add into that now these days, you can voice message on everything, right? So if you're not sure that a message is going to be received well, A, use emojis, or B, send a voice text just to clarify what you meant by what you were saying so we don't have any confusion around what those conversations look like in that texting space.
Yeah. And to give me an example, just so somebody is feeling, they've noticed somebody's not quite right and they're feeling a little overwhelmed about how to approach it, what could be some good strategies that they might be able to put into place, or something, an example of something?
Yeah, I think if someone's not feeling great, be specific about what you're seeing. What does that look like? So I was talking to a young bloke in a panel shop yesterday. He was 21. I just started yarning with him about mental health, and he said that when he goes to work, he has ADHD and he's a real talker. And he said that when he's quiet, the blokes will say, hey, what's going on with you today, Tom?
So it's noticing that change.
Noticing that change is the way that we use that as a lead in to have a conversation with someone about what's going on with their mental health rather than, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because we kind of get those one-word answers.
We do. It's a bit more of a closed question, isn't it? As opposed to, yeah, I've noticed you a bit quiet, Tom. So,
yeah.
Yeah.